Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night. Here we are, the fundamentals to getting the peace. And tonight we are doing it's class number 102 for the inner peace classes. However, for our course, it's week number 1. And we're very excited. It's week number 1 of the 10-week course on this journey together. So before we start, just to see if you got a chance to do any breathing, get used to the breathing, some reading, just to be aware. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Let's get grounded, like we always do on these Wednesday night calls, and we will continue doing that. This is part of being in the present moment. So take a deep breath, both feet on the ground. Just feel what you feel. And become aware of where you are. Where you're coming from, what your day looked like. Successful day, or maybe not. How it makes you feel. Become aware of your surroundings. And now turn inwards to see how your body feels. Usually it works together. What does my body feel? Do I feel relaxed or not? Just be aware. Wherever you're feeling, whether it's your head, your cheeks, your shoulders, let it melt. Deep breath and let it relax. Beautiful. Okay, so we're doing week number 1 of the 10-week course. And like we heard in the introduction, it's pretty simple, but not always easy. Pretty basic. It's the breathing twice a day. They give you a conscious response, which we'll discuss. Every week has a different conscious response. When you're conscious, you think about it. And then there's the reading. Sounds pretty simple. However, if you started the breathing, you probably came up with a different resistance, whatever comes up. And the basic resistance is usually, we don't have time to breathe. And I don't want you to beat yourself up if you didn't start breathing. It's just be aware that we're committed and we're going to do this. And again, depends why you're here. If you're here because somebody else told you to take this course, then you're probably not going to do it because there's no will. But if you're here because you decided it's going to help you, something that you need and you want to do it, so we need the commitment. Why? Because without the commitment, the resistance is much stronger. So the commitment is, no matter what, I am doing this. Even if I missed a day or two, I'm continuing. Even if I don't have time, I am doing it anyways. How? I don't know. So that's just becoming aware of that resistance. So that's if you decided you want to do it and you haven't started. If you started breathing, now you can tell me yourself what the resistance is while you're breathing. For me, for example, when I started, after 5 minutes, I needed to stretch. I felt there's a little bit of tingling in my body, but I needed to move. And one of the things is you're supposed to stay still for 15 minutes. Now, I don't expect that to work in the beginning. It does take time, but it's just becoming aware. And what I did, I stretched. I did move. They say you shouldn't scratch yourself, but in the beginning, you will. It's okay. That doesn't mean you're a failure. Doesn't mean you're failing. You continue. That's part of the commitment. So in a way, it's pretty simple. Twice a day for 15 minutes breathing. Every week there's 4 or 5 pages reading. The first week has a little bit more because it tells you how to breathe and different ideas. But every week is usually 5 or 6 pages of reading. In the course, you'll find a summary to make it a little bit easier for you, just to skim through to know what it's talking about, and then go back. So stop for a moment to see, where are you? Have you started? Why are you here? Why did you decide to take this course? And we are committed so that we can be consistent every day, in the morning and at night. Yes, you'll find yourself sometimes forgetting or missing it, and that's okay. We continue. The next day we do it. And I see myself, sometimes I do it earlier, sometimes later. I don't have my routine yet. But if you can have a routine, that's the best. But even if you don't have a routine and you find time to do it in the morning and at night, and every day it's going to look different because it's not part of the routine, but we're committed and we're doing it anyways. This is part of the resistance. In the book, it says there's one line that's very strong, brings out the idea, which you can ask, why do I want to breathe for 15 minutes? What is it? Why would I want to do that? So first of all, when you start doing it, you see the resistance. That resistance can be a lot of things inside of us that come up, and it can't be explained. It's not logic. It's more emotional, and not always are we aware of what the feeling is and what's coming up. So we feel the resistance and we decide to continue. Let it be. And it helps us be in the present moment, because usually all the feelings and ideas are in the present moment. But if we're not aware of it, we're escaping, we're in a rat race, we're busy. And basically, it takes us from always reacting. Constantly in our life, we react to everything, versus we stop for a moment and we're proactive. We can make a decision. What do I want to do now? Why? And we can think. And that's amazing. What with this breathing and this course, many of you might think it's going to make you feel better, and I believe it will, but that's not the goal. So the line that's in the book, it goes like this: we don't try to use our energy to try to feel better, but to get better at feeling. We're not trying to feel better. We're getting better at feeling, and that's being in the present moment. When a person is in the present moment, that's where the feeling is. And in the book, they're going to discuss it in week 2. Basically, when you get upset, he calls it a setup. I think it's going to be next week. But when you get upset about something, think of something that made you upset past few days. He uses the word upset, that it's a setup, and eventually we can sit like in a theater and watch the play. Watch it happening. So we don't have to react to it. We're like, wow. And in the middle of the play, when you're sitting in the theater, you're not jumping to the actor and screaming at him and telling him why is he doing it. It's a setup. So could you imagine the next time the same situation happens, instead of getting upset, you will look at it as a setup. You'll look at it from the distance, like you're watching a theater, you're watching a show, and you can continue breathing. Well, you might have to make decisions afterwards, so you're active and you can concentrate, you can be there. But if we're not aware and we're in it and we feel people are doing things to us and we're constantly reacting, that's what we want to stop. So here we are, week number 1. And again, we are committed to do the breathing and the reading, because without that, it's not going to work. Every day, the few minutes that it takes So we discussed last week in the introduction the two things before we start. Number one is, like we said, commitment and consistency. We have to be committed so that we can be consistent. And again, it's okay if in the beginning it's not so consistent and you might say it's not working. Just take a deep breath and continue. I would recommend you print out a calendar so that you can make big black checks. Big checks, AM, PM, AM, PM. In the morning, you did it in the morning, and you did it at night. And obviously, you'll find some places, some spaces that are empty, and that's okay. We continue. And the second thing we discussed was setting an intention. So that means this week, number one, the conscious response is this moment matters. Okay, we're going to be spending a full week doing the breathing exercise. And when we're conscious during the day, the line that we're going to be walking around with is this moment matters. Again, when you're conscious. When you're busy with other things, you're thinking about other things, so you're not thinking about this. That's okay. But every now and then during the day, you stop, you take a deep breath. You can ask yourself, where am I now? What am I doing? So that brings you back into the moment. And you ask yourself, and you say, this moment matters. And this is what you're going to be walking around with the first week. And basically, the idea of the first week is to come back home, to be present, to come back to yourself, to be aware of where you are and those feelings. Obviously, feelings in the moment are going to come up, but we're not doing anything about it now. It's just the breathing. This moment matters. And that's how we can set an intention. After you're breathing in the morning, you finish your 50-minute breathing. Stop for a moment and set your intention for the day. What do I want my day to look like? How do I want to feel? And again, it's without expectations. That's letting go. Once we set the intention, once we set, I want to be calm. I want to be aware of every moment. And then we let go and we let the process happen. It happens. And you become aware of what happens. Sometimes you're aware, sometimes you're not. But that's setting the intention. So number one is the commitment. And number two is setting the intention. A question that came up, when you're talking about being consistent and surrender to the process, just let things happen. Don't try to control it. So if it brings up feelings, you're angry, you're upset, you just breathe and you're aware of it. You're not stopping it. And whatever it is, you are just in the moment, you're aware, and you're not trying to change anything. So someone asked if, I don't understand and I should just trust and follow and do what it says. If I don't understand, why? So we discussed it, and we discussed it many times, going from the logic to the emotion. The logic needs to understand. Usually we don't do things if we don't understand why. But so much of our day is controlled by our emotions, and we're not in touch with our emotions. This whole process, the 10-week process, is going to bring us back to the present moment and make us in touch with our emotions. And not always are you going to understand those emotions. You'll have those feelings inside. Different feelings will come up. You're not going to understand what it is, why it's happening. And we're going to learn how to breathe, stay there, and be okay with it. If you're going to want to understand, that means you're running back to the logic. Okay, now Let's say you're reading something in the book that you don't understand. It might trigger something. Okay, so that's an awareness. He might write something that you think is totally wrong. If you think that way, just be aware of it and continue reading. It's being aware of your feelings that come up. So you read whatever it is, just read it, see what it says. If it does trigger ideas, write them down, become aware of it, and stay there and breathe. You're not doing anything about it. You're aware that this is something that doesn't connect with me. This is something that I don't like. Beautiful. You're just aware of it. But you have to realize that it brings something up inside of you. So we can talk about it. You know, which words, what idea triggered? And we'll discuss it. Why? What do you feel? What are you thinking? But first, just be aware of that trigger or whatever it is. So that's the consistency, and be able to surrender to whatever comes up, to let go. We're not making any expectations. I'm taking this course because I want A, B, and C. I want this outcome. We don't want anything. We want to be in the present moment. You want to be with yourself and let whatever needs to come up, comes up. Whatever you have to feel, you feel. And you're going to be triggered, but you're not reacting. You can be responsive. You can say, wait a second, why do I feel this way? What can I do about it? Versus reacting the whole time, you're not even aware. You're constantly reacting to things that it brings up because you're not in the present moment. So again, remember, we're not doing this course to feel better. And many times you're not going to feel better. But we're getting better at feeling. When feeling comes up, we're not going to get lost. We'll be aware, we'll continue breathing, and let it pass. Wow. It might take time. But again, I hope you got a head start, and I hope you're able to start. But even if not, it's never too late. Start now. In the beginning, the first week or more, it's going to be a challenge. You will move, scratch, do what you have to do, because it could be it's hard. And again, that was my experience. You be aware of your experience, because every person is different. And then you can sit there for 15 minutes and do the 15-minute breathing. In the course, there are 4 options, 4 videos: the fast, medium, and slow. Again, go see which one works for you. And then I added one, I think it's a medium one with music. For me, the music helped to get through the whole 15 minutes. But again, become aware of what works for you. In the beginning, it might be hard, but try them out and stick to it. So again, simple, but not always easy. Okay, and that's basically it for tonight, and I'll open it for questions in a minute. But to remember, what do we need to do? It's very simple. It's number 1, consciously connected breathing for 15 minutes. And while you breathe, if you saw on the video, 6 words: I am here now in this. I am here now in this. And this is how you breathe. I am here now in this. And whatever you feel, let it come up. We have every week the conscious response. And this week, number 1 is this moment matters. We become aware of the moment. And then we have the reading. The first week, there's a little bit more, but usually it's not so much, 5-6 pages of reading. And in the course, you have a summary, which makes it easier. And that's about it. Sounds simple, but I would like to know your experience. And if you can share, whether it's in the course or you send me an email, please send me an email after every few days. Let me know how it's going, what comes up. If there are any resistance and you're scared you're not going to be able to make it, you let me know. Congratulations for taking this step. And I hope, Emet Hashem, all of you will be here with me week 10 with the breathing, with ups and downs. Hopefully it gets a little easier, but we're committed. And the commitment means I am doing this if whether I understand or not, whether I like how it feels, whatever it brings up. And it sounds funny. Why would I want to stick with you if doing this makes it much worse? That's the funny part of this course. We're not doing anything different. This is your life. We're breathing. You're breathing anyways. I'm not telling anybody to breathe because you're breathing anyways. I'm just telling you to breathe in a certain way, to be conscious, to be aware, to be in the present moment. And that can be a challenge. That can be a challenge. The challenge is to be in the present moment. People might as well just continue reacting because it's too hard for being in the present moment. But if we can learn how to be in the present moment and not get scared, we get better at feeling. We feel, I don't like the way that feels. Okay, but we don't get scared. You don't have to run and continue on your phone and continue talking and being busy and, workaholic, busyholic. You can stop, take a few minutes for yourself, even though things come up and you're aware of things that you're scared of. So I hope to see you all in Menachem next week. And by week 10, congratulate all together. And I believe you will continue doing this because it's something that when you realize how beneficial it is, you'll be doing it past the 10 weeks. It's every day before you start your day, a few minutes for yourself, being conscious. At the end of the day, a few minutes being conscious again, what my day look like, what brings up, and that's amazing. So that's week number 1. Any questions, you can raise your hand and I'll unmute, or you can put it in the chat, but whatever is more comfortable, and we'll get to answer your questions. If you didn't start the breathing, please, now is the best time. And this is a journey. Don't forget, it's a journey. And it all starts with one step at a time. Yes, for somebody mentioned last week, it's easier for them on WhatsApp. If you would like to get information on WhatsApp, please send me an email, menachem@gmail.com, and specify that it's for the presence process or the awareness journey, the 10-week course that we're doing, and you would like to get information on WhatsApp. So I can send you the information on WhatsApp, Menachem. So again, if you would like to get information on WhatsApp, please send me an email with your number, menachem@gmail.com, and please let me know it's for the 10-week course that you want the information on WhatsApp. Great question. I find myself getting bored. What happens when you feel bored? What do you feel when you feel bored? And you'll find treasures in that time. There's a lot of treasures. If you can stop for a moment and breathe, and then your mind is going to say, no, don't stay there, don't breathe. Keep on going, keep on being busy because you're bored. Listen to that voice and stay there. And eventually you become used to that voice. It's okay. It's okay to be bored. You stay there. And it might bring up other things also, different feelings that we're not aware of. And this is the reason why we're doing this journey. We're connecting to ourselves and to the feelings that we have anyways. It's just people are not aware of it. So we continue running and then we react. Or you're aware of it and you can respond. Take a deep breath. Let me give you an example. And I'll thank my mother for it. Well, a good example that my mother asked me would be, let's say you're a teacher. And you have curriculum, you have to finish it. Last week, the principal was upset you didn't finish the curriculum. You have those kids in class that are not listening, not behaving, disturbing. Now, to react is to send them out, to scream at them, to get out of my way. I have something to do now, and you're just not letting me do it. So that's if you're not aware. If you're aware of it, you become aware, first of all, what's bothering you. Well, I have to finish my curriculum. Where do you feel it? What does it make you feel? Take a deep breath. Now, what can I do about it? It might not be in the moment, right? In the moment, not always can we do something, but tonight, tomorrow morning, so that you don't get into it again, the same situation. You can respond instead of reacting. So it's becoming aware of your own emotions. So for the person that feels bored, hold on to it. Don't be scared of that feeling. Keep on breathing, and when you feel bored, just feel it. So we're not scared, and we'll see what else it comes up. But even if it's only bored, are you scared of that feeling? That means bored controls your life. If you're not scared of that feeling, you say, wait a second, I decided to take it easy now for 10 minutes. I don't care if I'm bored. I'm okay. Who's in control? That's what we're looking for. One more time, the email is coachmenachem@gmail.com. If you want to get information on the course via WhatsApp, please specify in the email that you want information, coachmenachem@gmail.com. Now, can we listen to something during the breathing? So the breathing has those 6 words, and I would recommend, I believe it's those 6 words that you should be listening to. And it's not really listening, it's in your mind. The reason why you shouldn't be listening, it's really because it's a distraction. The first few times I would let you, I would let you know, who am I to let you know? But I would say the first few times to get used to staying in 50 minutes in one place, breathing, so you can listen. But eventually you close that and try to listen to relaxing music, just to keep you in those 15 minutes in the present moment. You get the book in the course. There's a PDF. If you want, you can buy the book online, but you can get started right away. The book is in the course. There's a PDF with the whole book. So that's about it. If you have any questions, you can always send them, coachmenachem@gmail.com. Congratulate yourself for taking this step, for taking this step. For taking the step, congratulate yourself. Say, you're amazing. You want to work on yourself. You're aware there are certain areas in your life that you want to be better at, which is amazing. And you're committed, and you're going to do it. And if once or twice you find you didn't do it, if you're not sure if you're doing it right, it's okay. You continue anyways. And if you have any questions, always welcome to email me. Enjoy week 1. Enjoy being in the present moment. Enjoy the breathing. And I'll see you all in Mitzvah Hashem next week, Wednesday, with week 2. Have a tzlacha and a good night.